Oh.
And welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe, and what is always my favorite show of the year, not just because it's the last show of the year, it's Santa.
Hi everybody!
I am continuously thrilled that we have the opportunity to have you, and you make some time in your incredibly busy schedule this time of the year to come in and talk with the people of Reynoldsburg. We have a couple of guests that are sitting in but are off camera right now.
Say hi!
Hi.
There we go. So we're all full here and having a good time. But let's get right down to the big things. So, what are some of the hot toys that you're seeing being requested out there for this year?
Well, I just checked with the audience and athletic things, footballs, Ohio State footballs, and Chicago. Those are the popular. And then anything squishy, Squishmallows, slime. Stress balls for some of the grown-ups. Those are popular. Legos are always popular.
Always, yes.
And please, on Christmas Eve, if you could clean up the Legos off the floor. I have boots on, but it still hurts. So those are the most popular. Oh, and yeah, those are the most popular.
Yeah, I know Legos are one of the things that are on my list.
What kind of Legos do you want to build?
The one that I'm really hoping for is, because I'm a super nerd, it's a Lord of the Rings Lego set that's pretty cool. So that's what I'm hoping for that one.
We'll see what we can do.
All right. I really, at this point, I don't know where to go. But it does. So I obviously
begging.
Obviously, kids are not the only ones that send letters.
Oh, yeah.
So when you get letters from some adults in the Reynoldsburg area, what are you seeing? Are they asking for anything in particular?
Gadgets, anything electronic is what the guys are asking for. The ladies are usually asking for their guys to have something electronic and go somewhere else for a little while.
Yeah.
Time off work, a lot of those are from city employees, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
We've had a lot of requests for an ice cream place that's coming to Reynoldsburg. Bruce just opened.
Yes.
And we were able. I think we accomplished that a little early. And so those are a lot of the adult presents and gifts that asked for.
That's cool. I always get a kick out of that. Weather is always kind of iffy. Today it's kind of the gray, rainy type of thing. But up in the North Pole, how is the weather there today? How's the weather?
Frosty and fabulous. The air's very crisp, which is great for the reindeer flight practice, and they're doing a lot of practicing. And so it's a perfect weather. It's cool. It's I think 13 degrees this morning when I left, so It's a little cool.
All right, just a little brisk. Get you up and ready to move for the day. All right. Now I know every year, obviously weather conditions depending, you're always looking for who's going to lead your reindeer.
Oh yes.
Any thoughts on? I mean, I don't want you to spoil anything.
Dasher has been exceptionally nice this year and kind, and he's lobbying for the position to lead. Comet has promised that he wouldn't eat all the snacks at the reindeer gatherings.
Okay.
So he's hoping that he can get in there. Don't tell anybody, but just between you and I, it's going to be Rudolph. Rudolph generally leads.
Okay.
But don't tell them because the reindeer typically try to behave a little nicer in hopes that they get the lead position.
I'm sure that reindeer and children all around kind of follow that same pattern
Yes.
As we get closer to Christmas. I know I asked what your favorite cookie is, and I know that you have a variety. Is there one particular that has gotten your attention recently?
It is very hard to choose. Chocolate chip I love. Snickerdoodles I love to say. I love all cookies. Oreos. I love Oreos. I love the Oreo double stuff. I love the Oreo mega stuff. I'm waiting for Oreo to have a bag of just stuff.
Yeah.
I think that would be good. What kind of cookie? Do you have a favorite kind of cookie?
Chocolate chip. Oreo. Reese's.
Reese's is a new one.
It is so hard to choose, and so I'm going to go back to my normal answer, and I'm limited down to just two kinds, and that would be homemade and store bought.
Well, Well, one of the cool things that has been kind of popping around here is obviously the holiday season. People are sharing cookies and things like that. And we had some that are really creative, and they actually made kind of a treat that was shaped like a little cute mouse. And it was a little Hershey's Kiss, and it was like a cherry, and it was covered in chocolate, and it had little peanut ears and everything like that. And some of our staff were just absolutely thrilled that they had this cute little thing that they could have just in their desk as they were waiting around. It was a lot of fun. They're really yummy. Just little fun things that we like to do.
A lot of work being done.
It is. These are outside and they brought in, not on the taxpayer's side, of course. So afterwards, when you take a deep breath and you finish that last home visit and things like that, what are you thinking for vacation? What do you? I know you don't get a lot of time off because it's a lot of stuff to do in a year.
Vacation. Oh. I'm thinking maybe someplace warm. Maybe I could trade my boots for some flip flops.
Okay.
And like a Hawaiian shirt, and maybe Hawaii or the Bahamas. Mrs. Claus is very excited about that prospect. The reindeer have already started packing up their sunglasses and things, but I don't think they're going to go with us.
No.
I don't know how to break that to them. But Mrs. Claus insists that I take some time and relax right after. So I will probably just hang out at the North Pole for a couple weeks after, and then I'm thinking someplace warm this year.
Someplace warm. All right. Well, I appreciate. Is there any questions from our audience out there for Santa?
Not for Santa.
Not for Santa. That means I've got questions coming up. So.
I do.
Oh, we got a question?
Do the reindeer know how to do a barrel roll?
Ooh, that's a good
They
question.
do. So they practice that during the reindeer game. The question was, do the reindeer know how to do a barrel roll? And yes, and they do. We try not to do it on Christmas Eve when the sleigh is loaded because they don't typically, when they do it, are not at full speed. And so they tend to try to dump me. And come to think of it, that might be what they're trying to do, is dump me. I'm going to have a discussion when I get back to the North Pole.
Well, that's a good question.
Did you have one?
Nope. Well, we appreciate you taking the time. I know you're very busy. I know you have a lot of visits that you do, and we appreciate everyone that you visit and everyone that you talk to, and making Reynoldsburg a special place by coming more than once. So thank you very much, Sam.
Well, I love Reynoldsburg. Mrs. Claus loves Reynoldsburg, and so we do try to visit as often as we can.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
We'll see you soon, Santa.
Bye-bye. Necklace, I got you.
So, for those of you that you might not know, this is actually a wonderful Santa hat that I had the privilege of being bestowed upon me by Santa last year. So that's a really cool thing. So we've got a couple of things that we're going to talk about. Obviously, Reynoldsburg City School Board meeting was last night, and they'll have their next one on January 21st. They will also have a community meeting to talk about potential cuts and things like that with the levy. Starting on January 9th at Baldwin Road, and I believe that's beginning at 5:30 p.m. Any questions about what?
We had a question come in earlier. It was wanting to know about the luminary display at Quarry Park, if that was going to be rescheduled, and also about the old Christmas lights recycling. And I don't know if you know that did just get put out.
Yep. So as far as I know, the luminary walk is not going to be rescheduled. There were some potential issues with rain last weekend, and they couldn't do it. But I do know that they have their January 1st Quarry Park Walk, Pine Quarry Park Walk, that just was announced today. So that's a great opportunity. It's not as with the luminary, but sometimes weather is uncooperative. And then, like you said, the Christmas light recycling is out right in front of RPD. Real quick, I just want to talk a little bit about this. It's not Reynoldsburg related, but specifically, yet again, the United States suffered another school shooting. This was in Wisconsin, and obviously details are sparse and things of that nature, but I don't know what to say other than when is enough going to be enough? When are we actually going to take some actual strict steps on a lot of these things? Every situation is different, but we seem to run into the same pattern again. The school shooting happens, there's a lot of finger pointing about why it happened, who it happened, and then there's conversations about, oh, we can't talk about it now because it's too recent, it's too fresh, we need to let the emotions out of it. And then by the time that happens, everybody moves on to the next thing until the next school shooting, and it's over and over and over and over again. And I don't know what the answer is, but I can tell you what we're doing right now, which is really nothing, is not the answer. I really wish that we could have legitimate conversations about potential solutions to these issues. That's just my thing, and it's unfortunate. My hearts go out to the people that were killed and the family members that were there and dealing with this. And then every other parent who's ever sent their kid to a school and has a moment where they see something on social media or they get a phone call saying something's going on, a lockdown this or a and people thinking what that was. I don't get why we don't demand more. I just don't. So that's that. I could go on for a lot longer, but nobody wants to hear me drone on about that. While the weather right now is rainy, at some point in time, the temperature is going to drop and this rain will be into snow. So basically, keep connected through Reynoldsburg Connects or the website or social media, because if we do start to expect anything more than a couple of inches of snow or dustings, it would be really awesome for our snow team if you clear the roads and move your cars off the roads, because it's a lot easier. Otherwise, you run the risk of having your cars kind of like boxed in for snow. And it's just easier for the crews to go out there. They do a lot of work to keep the roads clear, and that's one thing that is kind of consistent in Reynoldsburg, is that we have a high quality of getting these roads clear as much as possible. So I want to thank them in advance. It is not an easy job, because I didn't know if you know this, sometimes the weather people are not always right. One day it's going to be 5 inches of snow, and then it's 1 inch of snow, and then it's nothing, and then it's 3 inches. It just bounces off, and they do as best a job as they can to kind of figure that out. We do know that moving forward, after the first of the year, you're going to be able to start tracking where our snowplows are. Do you think we should name our snowplows? Do you think we should? If you think we should name, McPlowy, McPlowface, or something like that, or any number of other fun things, go ahead and let us know, because that way, when you want to look and see where our snowplows are, you can kind of identify what plow is where. They weren't used last year, so all of those elementary schools that kind of participated and colored everything was really, really good, and so they're in good shape, so hopefully we'll kind of get them involved as well. Beyond that, we have kind of a council review. As you might have seen, the budget did pass on Monday night, so I can sleep again. Setting up a really good stage for everything for next year. As always, by charter, the city of Reynoldsburg has to have a budget that is actually less than the expected revenues. We can't do it the other way around. We're not the federal government and just spend money whether we have it or not. So it is under budget, and we're looking forward to a number of big projects. We've got some internal things, and then we're also obviously looking at a street program for next year as well. And one resident did ask a question about some of the housing and the extension for the sewer project. We will be commencing with a sewer project just after the first of the year, hopefully. They will expand sewer service actually out from Taylor Road to Summit Road, which would open up some commercial activity, hopefully across from just south of the elementary school. It will also provide additional sewer capacity, so when the schools have the opportunity to build another middle school, they will be able to build that out there. And there were some concerns, about how this is all funded. Obviously, we're using grant dollars. We're using a private practice partnership to bring that in, and something called TIFs, tax increment financing, which is basically taking the property taxes that come to the city and some of the other entities, and we're kind of combining it together to kind of pay off and pay for this infrastructure. And then that way also continue to improve the roads, including Summit Road, which we did get awarded, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But some of the concerns were about, the impact on the schools. This is actually not in Reynoldsburg City Schools. These students in this housing will actually be going to Licking Heights. Not to say that they don't have some similar issues, but it's a little bit different with that district. And there are concerns about the fire levy. And I'm proud to say thank you to the Reynoldsburg voters on the Licking County side. You guys actually did pass the fire levy that was out there. Unfortunately, the rest of Licking County did not. Reynoldsburg passed it at a 51.6%, while everywhere else overall it was a 43%. So we know that at least in Reynoldsburg, we support the West Licking Fire Department. So if you're watching, thank you. Beyond that, cool things with police department. We have Coffee with the Cop this Friday at December 20th from 9 to 11 a.m. and it's at the Starbucks at 256. So that'll be there from 9 to 11. So go in and take a look, talk to some of our community officers and find out what that's all about. It's going to be a good time. As I mentioned, we did get the Summit Road OPWC. That means that basically we get additional funding and low interest loans to do massive infrastructure projects. So yes, we are already in planning stages for the next one. So now that we've been awarded this, we'll present it to council after the first of the year, get some engineering done in 2025 with a hopeful construction in late summer, early fall, probably mid to late summer in 2026. The road will be widened from Main Street all the way to basically just by the elementary school, where it kind of moves into 3 lanes. So it'll be 3 lanes all the way. A traffic light at Summit at Main, curbs, gutters, street lighting, all the bells and whistles, and then we'll work with the community in those 2 areas that will have at least a sidewalk on one side, if not a sidewalk and a multi-purpose path. It just depends on what some of the community members are looking for in that area. So we're really excited about that, continuing our good streak of basically taking money from the state for free and leveraging it for big projects that we need to do here. So got that going on. Wagner Road is still working. The weather has been less than cooperative. The goal is to try and get as much of the bridge area poured over the next couple of days, probably tomorrow and Friday, and then let that cure as everybody's kind of taking their holiday recess. And then after the first of the year, they'll come back and kind of finish some things up. So the bridge is going to stay closed through the holidays, just because, again, the weather has been less than cooperative. You know, you spend how many months of no rain in, June, July, and August, and then all of a sudden it comes in right when we really would prefer it not to. But we'll figure it out. If you're bored and want something to do tonight, you've got a great opportunity. Go to the gingerbread house decorating class tonight from 6:30 to 7:30 at the senior center. It's going to be a lot of fun because you get to decorate something and then most likely eat it. Or if you just quit halfway through, you have that opportunity as well. Some cool things in the development world. We are working with the Alliance Project. They have their new design about what's going on there. And so they're coming in here in about an hour. And we're going to talk about next steps for the engineering phase and all of that and start identifying when construction will pick back up. It looks like it'll probably be March, April, depending on when the weather comes in. The big thing for all of us that I know everybody's really concerned about is restaurants. There are still plans for a restaurant on that corner between Bryce and Main, as well in between the McDonald's and the Taco Bell. So they're looking at 2 restaurants there. They're looking at some retail right on Main Street on the front part of it, while the Alliance building itself will be a little bit off to the back. The construction is still set to go. Now we're in the less than publicly exciting part of making sure all the engineering stuff checks out all the way across. So happy to have them in. Even though we don't have a lot of events going on, we do have 2 cool things to kind of keep aware of. One is today's the last day for the Black History Month banner nominations. So if you want to get those in, make sure you check out on our Facebook page and go ahead and nominate somebody that you feel has made a contribution to Reynoldsburg, so we can get those up for February. And then we also have the Martin Luther King Breakfast on Saturday, January 18th from 8:30 to 11 at the Community Church. And the tickets are going to go on just after the first of the year. And they go fast, so keep your eyes open for that particular thing. Other than that, we've got some save the dates. February 19th is my official State of the City. It'll be right here at City Hall. The doors will open at 6:30. And I'll kind of give you a little fun story, just to kind of give you an idea of why do we do a State of the City. So not many years ago, my wife was getting ready to teach in a district, and so she was going in and clearing out her old mailbox. And one of the things in the mailbox was a form for people interested in leading student tours to Europe and things like that. And this was before I was a teacher, and I looked at it and I saw it, oh, wouldn't that be cool? And I looked at my wife and I said, you know what, I think when I'm teaching, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take kids on trips to Europe. And she kind of looked at me and went, yeah, okay, whatever. 6 trips later, she kind of learned this idea that sometimes when I say certain things, odds are there's going to be a process and we're going to get it to happen. And so that's what the State of the City is about. The last 2 years we had talked about affordable housing, and we know that we are able to finally get that affordable housing across the street at the PNC site. So a lot of the future plans that I talk about in the State of the City, things that we would like to do, things that we are working on, things that we think that the community would appreciate, a lot of those things do get announced at the State of the City. Now, it takes time for a lot of that stuff. Obviously, restaurants are going to be a huge focus over the next year or so. But that's where a lot of that stuff comes in. And if you really want to know what's going on now before you see a sign that says that there's something on planning and zoning, or you see somebody with a shovel on the ground, I encourage you to either come to City Hall and watch. You can watch online. I'd probably stream it. And participate in the idea and get an idea of what's going on, because that's the time to hear it. So everybody knows I'm kind of going to lay it all out there about what the goals are and things like that. So I hope you're able to attend. Don't worry, I don't talk longer than you would imagine. I think we're probably between 35 and 45 minutes or so. People can only handle listening to me for that so long. But I have plenty of pretty pictures to look at too when we do this. So if you don't want to listen to me, you can at least look at the pictures. With that, this is the last show of the year. Any questions before we...
No, but I think your special guests wanted to make a quick appearance and say hi too. So we're going to bring them back in. Is that
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
So, they're going to come in?
Yep, they're coming.
All right, so come on in, guys. All right, so these have been our helpers all day long. Why don't you introduce yourself? What's your name?
Sylvester.
And what's your name?
And I'm Roger.
All right, and these two wonderful helpers have come in today through a program to kind of date with the mayor, and you guys have done some pretty cool things. We took a tour of the building, and then we did a little bit of arts and crafts. Did you guys make some popcorn and get some popcorn bags?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you do when you made the popcorn?
We gave it to everyone here
Yeah.
at City Hall.
So everybody in City Hall got a little bit of nice popcorn, but it wasn't just popcorn. What else was it?
M&M's.
Yeah, so it's a little salty sweet combination here, and I appreciate your guys' help. We've got some certificates for you, and all sorts of cool things. So we're really thrilled that you were able to come today. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little bit. Life at City Hall isn't always this exciting, but with you guys here, it certainly helped. So I appreciate all your help today. Thanks for coming in. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
All right. So tune in after the first of the year. Our next show is going to be January 8th, and it was kind of convenient. At the time, Councilwoman Shanette Strickland was going to come in and talk about the Martin Luther King breakfast, but apparently she decided to up and get herself promoted. So she was actually voted on Monday at council. She is now our new council president. So Council President Shanette Strickland, if you are, I don't think you're watching now because you're teaching, but when you watch this, because I know you do, congratulations. Got some Bigfoot's shoes to fill with Council President Lawson Rowe as she's moving on to the State House, but I know you're going to do a great job. It's going to be a lot of fun working together to make our community all what we want, and you're going to be our first guest to kick off the new year. We're going to talk about the MLK breakfast and all sorts of other things. Everybody else, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and all the other holidays all the way throughout. Stay safe and stay respectful. And as always, 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 please put your shopping carts away. We'll see you next year. Bye, everybody.